Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm back with another video where I react to a movie slash review a movie for the first time. This is a series I'm really excited to do in the month of October for horror. I did one for John Carpenter's 1982 The Thing, and I really had fun making that video, where I'm just going to sit down and give you guys my quick thoughts on my first time watch with either a horror movie or a movie in general. So today I'm talking about Trick or Treat. This movie came out in 2007. I think it's become sort of a cult classic horror film. I know Chris Stuckman is a massive fan of it, and he usually has like stuff in his background about it. But yeah, it was my first time watch. Didn't really know much about the movie at all. So going into it, I didn't have like massive expectations or anything. And I walked out pleasantly surprised. I had a really fun time with this movie. It's one that I already can tell that years from now, I'm going to want to continue watching it on Halloween during spooky season, because it's just like a really fun time, if that makes sense. Yes, it's a horror movie, but it's only about an hour and 22 minutes, and it actually focuses on like 4 to 5 different people's stories and how they kind of intersperse and interact with each other on Halloween. So it's not like we're following one group of characters from beginning to end. It's basically like a Tarantino Pulp Fiction style narrative in a small confined horror. The movie opens with like a kill, and then there's a really cool like comic book-esque title sequence, and I thought right from the start, okay, this movie is very self-aware. It's a horror movie, but it's also pretty campy and cheesy and can't even make you laugh at times, and that's something that I appreciate about the movie. There's one storyline following a principal who actually kills children. It's kind of really a dark premise for this movie, but it was executed very well. And then you see like someone witnessing someone maybe burying someone in the backyard, and then later in the movie you go back and you see the scene from a different perspective. I'm always a fan of when movies replay scenes through a different character's perspective. It's just always a little unique directorial flair that I like to see in my movies. And it was definitely present in this one, not gonna lie. Like there was a lot of instances where I was like, okay, that's really cool. We see this character brush with this character, and then later on we see it from a different point of view. It's like, I really like when movies can do that and do it right. There's actually a storyline revolving around, and there's a lot of foreshadowing there that really sets up these characters as like the basic girls that are teens that are kind of dumb and like loose on Halloween night, and it doesn't really go the way you expect. That's something this movie does well, is like it leads you in one direction and it really does lead you on, and then like that it changes, and that actually probably contained the freakiest imagery and the creepiest moments in this movie was that subplot. But also Sam, who is like the mascot of this movie, if you will, like he literally looks like a walking around pumpkin. That's what he is. I feel like he is the icon of this movie, the thing most people remember Trick or Treat for. His face without the mask on is on the cover of the regular Blu-ray, if that tells you anything. So I really do like that character. He doesn't really say much, but he's a creepy guy, and there's a storyline, especially with him and Brian Cox's character, that I found pretty intriguing. And it was like an homage to all the slashers, the basic like slasher stuff, and it was executed very well in the end there. Also, I feel like everyone gets their justice in this movie, and I was worried that wasn't going to be the case at one point, as there's a storyline revolving around like this group of kids who are just so mean to this one girl for absolutely no reason. Like, she's just really passionate about Halloween. She makes jack-o'-lantern. She's really nice, and she was sweet. And like they pull this really mean prank on her, and then like things take place, and I liked the result of that scene. At first, I was like, that's kind of messed up. Like what the revenge aspect, I was like, that's kind of messed up, but at the same time, you know, they did you dirty. So I like the way that they went with that. I like that it's not like we're following one group of characters from start to finish. It bounces around all over the place. And with a horror movie, that's actually more intriguing. It's like a breath of fresh air, because sometimes horror movies for me are lacking in really solid characters. I'm going to talk about some more horror movies that I watched for the first time later on the channel, and that will be a point that I have against the movie, is I don't really care about these characters who are getting picked off left and right. Well, in this movie, it's like the short, confined stories that the characters have, the minor amount of screen time they have, I could actually care for them, because I knew that, first of all, they weren't going to have much screen time, so it's like, all right, this is more about seeing how this quick story plays out. It was more about the narrative and like the Halloween vibes than like really creating huge characters, and I think the movie was aware of that. And that is something I have to give it credit for, because a lot of horror movies just don't have great character development, and I don't care about them. Like I said at the beginning, the movie's only an hour and 22 minutes, which is not very long at all. So this is a very quick watch. I highly recommend checking it out if you guys haven't seen Trick or Treat for the runtime alone. It's not like a big time commitment, like a 2-hour plus movie. It's basically like an extended episode of TV. It's almost an anthology horror, and it succeeds at that. The movie overall, I don't think is like absolutely amazing or a masterpiece of horror. I think it's a really solid movie. I gave it like 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd, which on my rating scale, the way I have written next to numbers is solid. So it's like a solid movie. I highly recommend it. I'm probably going to try and pick up the Blu-ray. It looks like it's a really hard one to find though. I think there's a Shout Factory, Scream Factory. There's an edition with a really cool slipcover. I don't think I'll get my hands on that because that seems like a rarity, like a collector's item. But there is a Blu-ray. It was sold out on Best Buy and Amazon, so I'll try and find that eventually. I'm going to continue doing these. If you guys like these videos, definitely consider hitting the like button and comment down below your thoughts on Trick or Treat, and if you want to see more like first time, not reactions, but like my quick thoughts on movies I've seen for the first time, especially in the month of October, because there's a lot of horror that I have not seen that I'm exploring for the first time. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It would mean the world. Stay tuned for future live streams, collabs, videos in general, all that good stuff. And until next time, see you guys later.